Hello, my dear students. Hope you are doing fine. It's really been a long time we have been away from our college. We know that most of you are definitely missing your college premises and the classroom. But your college also misses you, like you miss your college. Your college needs you, like you need your college. Holy Cross is the place where you belong, and Holy Cross is the place where we belong. We also miss the days when you were with us. So let's start our class today with a glimpse of our alma mater. Dear students, in my earlier lecture, I have clearly mentioned that there are different types of pronoun reference errors. In your exam, in the given passage, there will be different types of errors. Your task will be to identify these errors and replace those errors with the correct word. To do this task, one has to have a clear understanding on pronouns. Otherwise, it won't be possible to identify the wrong and incorrect pronouns. For this reason, before starting the lecture on pronoun referencing, I am discussing pronouns. A pronoun is a word that is used instead of a specific noun or noun phrase, which is mentioned earlier in a sentence. By using a pronoun in a sentence, we don't have to write that particular noun, which is an antecedent, again and again. By doing so, we can maintain the flow of a sentence. We already know that there are 8 types of pronouns. In my last class, I have discussed the first 4 types: personal pronoun, interrogative pronoun, distributive pronoun, and demonstrative pronoun. Today, I will discuss the other 4 types of pronouns: indefinite pronoun, relative pronoun, reflexive and emphatic pronoun, and reciprocal pronoun. Let's discuss indefinite pronoun. An indefinite pronoun is a pronoun that refers to non-specific beings, objects, or places. Indefinite pronouns can represent or take the place of either countable nouns or uncountable nouns. Indefinite pronouns are placed in the same location as a noun would go in the sentence. There are just two important rules for using indefinite pronouns correctly. Remember these rules and you will find that the writing comes easier. First of all, remember that indefinite pronouns can be singular or plural, depending on the use of them in a sentence. And the second thing is, singular indefinite pronouns take a singular verb. Plural indefinite pronouns take a plural verb. Remember these rules to identify the indefinite pronouns in sentences. First of all, indefinite pronouns that end in one are always singular. These words include anyone, everyone, someone, and one. Indefinite pronouns that end in body are always singular. These words include anybody, somebody, nobody. Indefinite pronoun both, few, many, others, and several are always plural. And the last one is the indefinite pronoun all, any, more, most, none, and some can be singular or plural. It depends on how they are used. Here is a big list of indefinite pronouns. You can see that some of them are singular, some of them are plural, and some can be used both as singular or plural. I have used some of these indefinite pronouns in the following examples. These examples will help you to understand the use of indefinite pronouns. Anyone can play the game as long as they follow the rules. Everyone knows that it is impossible to point at someone. No one wants to hear the lecture of Mr. Roger. Many are called, but few are chosen. Few of the justices voiced their opposition. Several letters arrived this morning. All the seats were occupied. All the sorted rattlesnakes was devoured. Such is life, such were the joys. From these examples, you can see that indefinite pronouns don't refer to any specific person, thing, or amount. Let's discuss about relative pronoun. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that introduces a relative clause. It is called a relative pronoun because it relates to previously mentioned nouns, whether they are people, places, things, animals, or ideas. Relative pronouns can be used as linkers as they can join to sentences. There are only a few relative pronouns in the English language. The most common are that, who, whom, whose, which, when, where, why, what, etc. Here are some examples of relative pronoun. Ridan was the only person who offered to help. I saw the dress that you bought last week on sale for less this week. This is the person that was taken to the prison last year. The 3 team leaders, whoever the committee selects, will be at tomorrow's meeting. She gave me a box which had a damaged lid. In these examples, who, that, these, whoever, which are relative pronouns. These pronouns are related to previously mentioned nouns. We can mention them as linkers, and these linkers are joining two sentences. I will discuss each of the relative pronouns with examples. First of all, let's discuss that. We can use that instead of who, whom or which to refer to people, animals and things. That is more informal than who or which. We use that as a conjunction. Here are some examples. This is a prisoner. He was taken to the prison last year. These are two different sentences. That works as a conjunction, so that will join these two sentences. This is the prisoner that was taken to the prison last year. Here we use that in case of people. Here is another example. I have a horse. It gives a foal every year. After joining the sentence, it will become, I have a horse that gives a foal every year. Here, that is used in case of animals. And the last one, I saw a dress you bought last week on sale. I saw the dress that you bought last week on sale. Here, again, that is joining two sentences. And here, that is used as things. Just remember that relative pronoun that is used for essential information. It requires no additional punctuation. Use of who, whom, whose. Who is a very common relative pronoun. The other forms of who are whom and whose. Whom is the object form and whose is the possessive form. Who and whom are mainly used for people. However, these pronouns can also be used to refer to animals that are mentioned by names and seen as persons. Let's discuss them in examples. I think there would be a lot of children who would love to have a pool at school. That's the dog of Mr. Robin who doesn't like me. Here, in the second sentence, who is referring to a pet animal. She was a celebrated actress whom he had known for years. While writing a sentence, just remember that whom is much more common in writing than in speaking. The relative pronoun whose is usually used for people and animals. Sometimes whose is used for things in formal situations. The man whose son won the game is a British. The tree whose branches shade my backyard is a banyan tree. Use of which. The relative pronoun which is used to refer animals and things. We use it to introduce relative clauses when they refer to a whole sentence or clause. Here are some examples. We drove past the University of Dhaka, which is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. You need to identify the box which says fragile. Use of when, where and why. In informal language, we often use when, where and why to introduce defining relative clauses instead of on which, at which or for which. Examples. There isn't a day when I don't feel sorry for you. Here, when indicates to time. I know a place where we will be able to meet maintaining social distance. Here, when indicates places. Do you know the reason why the school is closed today? In this sentence, why is used to know the reasons. What as a relative pronoun? As a relative pronoun, what means the things which? It does not refer to a noun that comes before it. Here is an example. We can't and shouldn't give you what you demand. Another one, what he said made his mother cry. Now, we will discuss about reflexive pronouns and emphatic pronouns. Though the same pronoun words are used in both the pronouns, but they are different regarding the use of the pronouns in sentences. Let's discuss them one after another. Reflexive pronouns. A reflexive pronoun is a type or form of a word that shows the action of the verb affects the person who performs the action. We use a reflexive pronoun when we want to refer back to the subject of the sentence or clause. Reflexive pronouns end in self or selves. There are 8 reflexive pronouns. In this list, they are divided into 2 categories. Myself, yourself, himself, herself, and itself are singular reflexive pronouns. And ourselves, yourselves, themselves are plural reflexive pronouns. Just remember, when the subject and the object of the verb refer to the same person or thing, we use reflexive pronouns. These examples will help you to understand the use of reflexive pronouns in sentences. I cut myself when I was gardening. You are going to cook yourself tonight. He cut himself on the broken mirror of the living room. You are too young to go out by yourself. He baked a cake himself to impress his mom. Dad and I painted the house ourselves. The students made the stage decorations by themselves. The car is in a class all by itself. In these sentences, the reflexive pronouns are referring to the same person or things. Don't forget that the antecedent is located within the same clause. Emphatic pronoun. Emphatic pronoun is a personal pronoun. The same 8 reflexive pronouns are used as emphatic pronouns. And here are also 2 categories, singular and plural, just like the same way. But the difference is the emphatic pronouns are used to emphasize the nouns. An emphatic pronoun cannot be used as a subject. They are placed immediately after the pronoun or noun which they emphasize. We don't use these as the object of a verb. From the list, you can see that the same words are the emphatic pronouns. Myself, yourself, himself, ourself, itself, ourselves, and themselves. These examples will show you the difference. I myself checked all the bags of the students. In this sentence, myself is emphasizing I. You yourself can complete the task. Yourself is emphasizing you. He himself could get it very well. She herself takes care of her toys. The dog itself caught the ball. Itself is emphasizing the dog. We ourselves will mend the roof. Ourselves is a plural word and ourselves is emphasizing we. They themselves admitted their misdeed. Themselves emphasizing they. I hope that the difference between the reflexive pronoun and emphatic pronoun is clear to you now. A reciprocal pronoun is a pronoun used to indicate an action or feelings that is reciprocated, which means we use reciprocal pronoun when each of two or more subjects is acting in the same way towards each other. It expresses mutual action or relationship. It shortens a long sentence by not repeating the same action done by two or more people. They make sentences simpler. The reciprocal pronouns refer mostly to people, but they can also be applied to animals or things. Moreover, the subject of the reciprocal pronoun has to be plural. There are only two reciprocal pronouns: one another, each other. The team members always cooperate with one another. The two students helped each other throughout their college years. Follow this example. Jack is waving at Jill and Jill is waving at Jack. This is the same as Jack and Jill are waving to each other. The wave is reciprocated by the other. We have to remember that in modern English, most people normally use each other and one another in the same way. Perhaps one another is preferred when we are making very general statements. My discussion on different types of pronouns have ended. Now we know what are pronouns, different types of pronouns, and the use of different types of pronouns. And we also know how do we use a pronoun in a sentence. In my next lecture, I will focus on pronoun referencing. This is a very important topic. So, complete the lectures on pronouns before that. You know very well that you have to study if you want to reach your goal. There is no shortcuts to reach your goal. The key to any long-term success is to take the necessary steps steadily. You can't skip any of them. Therefore, read and be determined. It will lead you to your way. This is the end of today's session. I'll be back with my new lecture soon. Till then, take care of yourself and your beloved ones. Thank you.